Okay, so we're currently in an area of the Somme battlefield known as Nab Valley or Blighty Valley, which is this small undulation in the ground here. We're looking over there towards the German positions, so if you're on the Somme and you ever wonder where the German positions are, or what you need to remember is they always had to hold the high ground here. When the war ground to a halt in the winter of 1914-1915 and the Race to the Sea began, the German army often withdrew back to a more tactically secure location, i.e. the high ground, which they could then dominate in a defensive position. As you're looking up the road here, the road itself ran through the middle of no man's land, so the British positions at the beginning of the battle, so from when the British took over the Somme sector from the French, is on the left hand side here in the woodlands. Now there are elements of it front line still visible in the woodland. It is private property, so unfortunately we can't go in and have a good scrub around in there. However, as we walk up this slope, let the car go past. As you walk up the slope, hopefully there's a few places that it might open up and you might be able to see inside. Also on the right hand side here is the area where the German positions are, and there is a footpath going off into the woodland on that side, so once we get up there we'll go and have a look. As we move up the slope out of Nab Blighty Valley, we're going to move up towards the Lonsdale Cemetery, and then on the right hand side you're going to see the imposing Thiepval Memorial. Now the ridge of ground in between those two locations on the right, which was held by the Germans, is the area of the Leipzig Salient. So again we're going to have a nose around over there. I don't think that that area is heavily cultivated now, so very little of it will remain. The best places of, if you're over here on the Somme, to see visible aspects of the entrenchments and things that came through here is in woodlands and things like that, where the trees naturally grew back fairly quickly after the war on almost the same footprint. Sometimes they didn't quite clear out everything, so that's sort of sometimes decent to have a look at. So let's just have a dive in here and see if we can see anything. There's a fence quite close in, so no, you can't see anything, but it'll be further back there if you could. Also the downside to coming at this time of year is that all the thickets and everything of that are still quite thick. If you come later in the year, later autumn into the winter or the early spring, a lot of the vegetation would have died back a bit and you'd probably get a better view in there, but at the minute you can't see, as you can see there, very very little visibility into there. So we're coming up now out of that zone. Had a look at the we've had a look at the in Blighty Valley and coming out, and then just on this right hand side here is the area where you can get into the woodland where the German entrenchments would have been. So we'll just go up there and have a little nose, see if we can see anything in there. So that we have now crossed no man's land and we are moving up towards German entrenchments, and the path unfortunately does run out fairly quickly into here, so that's about it unfortunately. in terms of what we can see here. This is very little actually remains under the trenches. In fact, it's only really Newfoundland Park that original trenches exist. There are a few places where some other trenches exist. But what we'll do now, we'll get to the top of near to the top of the ridge. I'll just show you around, and then I'll go and have a look down in the cemetery, and then I'll wander up further up the hill. So as you can see here, there's the cemetery over to the left there, coming along the ridge. Like I say, the road runs almost centre through no man's land, and then you look across and you have the imposing Theatre Memorial and then on the ridge. So you can see, hopefully you can see on the video, that the ridge line does drop off between where we're standing and the monument. That's where the line would have carried on this way straight up parallel with the road and then bent round. So the attack from here, although part of the pincer movement to attack Thiepval Heights, the highest point on the Somme, was launched from here, there was more attacks going on to that position, and that Thiepval itself went through until the 26th of September, so nearly 3 months after the start of the battle, that Thiepval would actually fall. Now, the cemetery that I'm going to have a wander over to now, Lonsdale, I'll film up to it, but I won't film in it because I don't feel it's respectful to film inside the cemeteries. Is a cemetery, is a consolidation cemetery, so it is where people were brought afterwards. Just cut into up there, there's some lovely poppies on the side of the road there, I hope you can see. So what they did was, with a consolidation cemetery, where this area didn't fall for so long, the bodies couldn't be recovered, so it wasn't until after this area was secured from the Germans that the British burial parties were able to come onto no man's land and bring the bodies back in. So there we are, back up to the Lonsdale Monument. So it's a monument to the Dorset Regiment here, and then the cemetery beyond. So that's a quick overview of Nab Valley and the Leipzig Salient. I've just come out of the cemetery here at Mill Road, which sits atop of a location that was the heavily defended area of the Somme position, the infamous Fearsome Redoubt. And this is the field ahead, looking down towards the Connaught Cemetery and the woods beyond, Thiepval Woods, that was assaulted by the 36th Ulster Division. Men of the 36th Ulster Division, they assaulted from roughly the edge of the woods all the way down past where now the Ulster Tower Memorial Tower is, into the valley and up the other side. But it was this area here directly in front of us where the main assault took place on the 1st of July, the opening day of the Battle of the Somme. To give you an understanding of actually where we are, you're looking across there, you're looking up onto the Thiepval Heights with the imposing monument sitting atop, and then the Thiepval village next to it. Now the Thiepval village was reduced to rubble. The houses were all gone, but the cellars were still intact and played a major part in the German defensive network. Swinging back across the other side, just through the gap in the tree after the tower, you can just see a farm. That's part of the village of Hamel. The village of Hamel, which again was part of the German defensive line. And so when the Ulster boys attacked through here, it's one of the few successes on the first day of the Somme. They managed to push the Germans out of the Thiepval, out of the Fearsome Redoubt, and actually some troops do make it as far as a mile and a half further on behind the redoubt. Unfortunately, failures on either flank of the Ulster Division means that the troops here do get cut off. Down just in front of the Connaught Cemetery in front of us, you can just see it over here, is the road leading along this ridge line, and that at the time was a sunken lane. However, rather than giving you the protection that a sunken lane would generally think of offer, it actually becomes a more hellish place, because with the failure of the troops on either side to push on, the machine gun nests in both the villages of Tierville and over towards Hamel and behind were able to concentrate their fire, and the German battery fire fell along this road, and so it became hell and life, cutting off the troops trying to come up to reinforce the Ulster division that had made the breakthrough. And so then eventually the Germans managed to counter-attack and push the Irish, or the Ulster boys, out of the Schwaben Redoubt. When they do, one of the German officers to enter the redoubt, stated that he counted 700 defences, and that every footstep he took was a footstep in blood. So deadly the fighting was in this area, and unfortunately, despite the Ulster Division's success on that early morning, they jumped off at 7:30. By 8 o'clock, they had stormed this field, not particularly far, but into the teeth of one of the Germans' most infamous defensive structures up here. So the Schwaben Redoubt, which is up here in front of us where the cemetery now stands. In fact, if you go into this cemetery, there's a number of headstones just in front of the cross of sacrifice that are laid flat, and that is because of the subsidence issue caused by the underground tunnels of that defensive network starting to collapse after nearly 100 years, with tractors being driven back and forth over it every year. So that's what happened here at the Schwaben. You've got the Tierville heights following, and then we're moving over to the direction over here, and that's up towards any of you who've done trips to the Somme, been on the school trips. You're moving up there towards Newfoundland Park and over in that direction to the more northern side.